Hello everybody, welcome back. Fit Fanny here, and today I'm going to share with you another recipe for this green smoothie. If you've followed along on any of my other videos, you may have seen a previous green smoothie recipe, but today's is really quite different. First of all, it's much simpler, and second of all, it has a completely different flavor profile than the other one. So I did try to record this actually twice already today. First one was actually as I made it, no audio. I already explained the recipe another time, no audio. So third time is our charm. Quite confident this one is working now. So what I love about this smoothie, first of all, is that it has a very delicious peanut buttery flavor, and peanut butter is my favorite food of all time. So even though it's green, it still tastes like peanut butter, which is a huge plus for me. The second thing is that it has only 4 main ingredients. So basically, if you have spinach, peanut butter, frozen banana, and a liquid, you have an amazing smoothie. So the base or the core of this recipe is 1 cup of fresh spinach. You can use frozen, although I wouldn't use a full cup. I would use much less just because it compacts down. And if you use frozen spinach, it doesn't have the beautiful, vibrant green color just because it doesn't impart the color as thoroughly throughout the smoothie. So I like to use fresh, and it has 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. You can use whatever kind of peanut butter you like, crunchy, smooth. It's going to get blended up anyway. I prefer the ones that don't have added oils or sugar. I feel that with the banana, it's sweet enough, and if you want more sweetness, I give you a bit of a hint later on for how you might add that. About 1.5 cups of non-dairy milk or another liquid. I used PKN Zero, which is an additive-free pecan milk, but you could use soy milk or even cow's milk. You could get away with water, although it wouldn't be as creamy, or something like coconut water if you're looking to add to your electrolytes. And lastly, 2 frozen bananas. You don't have to chop them up, but sometimes the smoothie will blend a little bit more evenly if you do chop them up in advance. So with those 4 ingredients, you'll have an amazing, delicious smoothie experience. But as I shared in my last smoothie video, I like to go a bit above and beyond when it comes to my add-ins. So I mix in a bunch of extra items along the way. So for me, the most important thing that I add to my smoothie is protein powder. I've mentioned before that keeping my nutrition on par is really important, especially with the extra activity that goes along with 75 hard, especially when I'm lifting weights, and especially at this phase of my life where preserving my muscle is extremely important. So I added 1/3 cup of Ritual vanilla protein powder. You could use a flavored protein powder like vanilla, or you could use an unflavored. I like the vanilla. I think it adds a nice addition to the flavor, but you can do whatever works best for you. I also added 2 pitted dates to add just a teeny little bit of sweetness. Now, this smoothie without the dates is plenty sweet just because of the bananas. But the sweetness that is added by the dates, for me, gives like a little bit of a caramely flavor. And I sort of like that blended with the peanut butter and the vanilla flavor. I also added 1 Brazil nut for some selenium. I add a Brazil nut to my smoothie every day. And lastly, I mix in a variety of other seeds and powders. So I added 1 tablespoon of psyllium husk for fiber. I added a tablespoon of Zen basil seeds. If you're not familiar with Zen basil seeds, check them out. There's some really great information about how nutritious they are. They have a lot of fiber as well, and you can add them into recipes, smoothies, or salads, just like you would chia seeds. They have a different nutrient profile, but they're also extremely healthy, just like chia seeds. I added pumpkin seeds, and then in terms of the powders that I added a teaspoon of moringa powder, a teaspoon of matcha powder, a teaspoon of barley grass powder, and a teaspoon of spirulina powder. So given that all of those powders are also green, they just add to the beautiful green color of the smoothie. And they don't really impact the flavor too much. So there's not like a chalkiness or like a strong flavor from any of them. They just sort of fade away into the peanut buttery deliciousness. So that is today's amazing green smoothie. I encourage you to check it out. I'll put the recipe in the description. If you try it, let me know what you think. And going back to the beginning, if you only have the main 4 ingredients, you're going to have a wonderful smoothie experience with just the spinach, peanut butter, liquid, and banana. So don't feel like you have to add all the extra stuff. I just like to, because I like to have variety and I like to pack as much nutrition as I can. Thank you so much for following along my 75 hard journey. I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow.